recently, Elon Musk took over Twitter and fired the CEO, as well as fired the CFO. Today I'll be talking about whether or not it was justified. In the past, I have owned Twitter. This was like in the way past, like 2013 to 2016. Back then, revenues did increase, but profits were always negative, negative 500, negative 500, negative 400, and then negative 100. So what's strange to me is, so in 2018 and 2019, it was positive. It was making over $1 billion, which is great. And the revenue was increasing too in 2018 and 2019, above $3 billion. So that's great news too. But then in 2020, I mean, there was the pandemic, but you can see the revenue is actually increased. But somehow the profit went down to negative 1 billion. So in that span of time, somehow they lost $2 billion. And this was, if you Google it, if you try Googling it, you'll see that there's articles that mention the expenses that were incurred were due to COVID-related expenses. But it's kind of mind-blowing that in 2020 they lost $2 billion, not $1 billion, but if all things said and done, they did the same thing as 2019. They should have had another billion in profit, but somehow they went from 1 billion down to negative 1 billion. So that blew my mind. And then, 2021, things should have been streamlined. They in fact make 1.3 billion more in total revenue. So they made over $1 billion more, and yet their profit is only 200 million, is a negative 200 million. So that's why, when you look at it, it's kind of justified that both of these guys were laid off due to just looking at performance alone. You could argue that in 2020, that they were growing the company, but it's just the dramatic amount of expenses that were incurred. It just, to me, it doesn't add up. I tried researching it to see like where was this huge expense, and I couldn't find it yet. And so, I'm just an amateur, and you shouldn't believe me, but that's just from what I'm seeing. It doesn't seem very transparent to me. And so that's my analysis, my amateur analysis, that how can you take a company from being profitable at almost 1.5 billion and take it all the way down to negative 1.1 billion in 1 year, and at the same time you're increasing revenue. It doesn't make sense to me, the amount of expenses that were incurred. So that's it. That's my short video.